you're just joining us, let us know where you're from. And if you're a member, let us know what business you're in.
And this week's topic is on failed parties. So if you ever tried to host an event or a party or a gathering of some sort and nobody shows up, or there's like one person in the crowd and you just feel incredibly awkward and you get all those feelings inside, that's what this episode is about, Spill the Beans. So if you're watching, go ahead and click share and get your friends on the call if you feel like they can benefit from this discussion as well, or they have something to share.
Sometimes even whether it's family business, just a girls' night fun thing, you invite people, you do all this planning, no one comes. No one tells you they're not coming. They just don't come. Yeah. Does that ever happen to you?
Oh my goodness. How many times it has happened to me. Or like they'll even RSVP, they'll say, yeah, we'll be there. Yeah, we're going to come out. And then 3 hours into the party and you've made all this food and they don't show up and you're like, okay. Because you don't want to be mad at them because you're like, well, something came up and that happens. But you're sitting there feeling all sorts of like rejected and you did all of this work and you're like, what do I do with that? What do I do with that? Has that ever happened? Like, tell me about a time that has happened to you.
That's happened so many times. It's so, I tell my girlfriends who do these party planning, that their business is about parties. They're like, oh, you should have a party. You have so many friends. And I do. I have lots of friends and I can call any of them at any time and they'll help me. But to get them to come to my house is a whole nother thing. So I feel really bad because even when I had businesses that had parties that you did for business, I could show up and they would pack the house and it was awesome and totally fun. But I would invite people to my house. Nobody would come. But I would even confirming even, I don't know, people either didn't answer the phone. I don't know if they were afraid to tell me they weren't coming. I don't know.
That's the thing. I've been to some parties though where I'm going into somebody's party and they do some kind of, direct sales party and I've been the only person to show up. And so you, as a consumer, or like if somebody's attending this party, you get worried to even come because what if that happens to you and then you're left in this party and then you have this sense of obligation. And so like as a consumer coming to these parties, that has happened to me. But I've also been on the flip side where I've had these parties and my upline would say, yes, yeah, you have so many people, you'd be surprised or what have you. And you invite them all over and they'll like humor you and they'll say, oh, I'm coming. And then you get to your party and nobody is there.
Do you have better luck when they're online parties? Have you tried these online parties where people you open up a Facebook page and then you invite your friends and they like pop in when they can? Do you have better luck with that?
I've never personally tried that because I worry that I'm going to get on live because I've seen these women do such successful events, right? Of people of doing their live videos and they're showing their product and people are actually buying. And I mean, it looks like it's legit. It looks like it's real, but I'll do it and nobody will hop on my live. I'll have like one view and nobody will buy. And then it'll just be forever on my feed as like a fail. So that intrinsically, I'm going through all of these emotions. Like once you have a failed party, you just feel, how do you come back from that? And if you're listening, guys, please share. If you're into direct sales or if you've had a direct sales party for somebody or you even hosted a family party and nobody came or you've never done it because you're scared that nobody will come, tell us about it and share this video so that we can get more input from other people. Okay, so Angela, you did direct sales for a while, right? Tell me about a failed party that you hosted, or it failed.
That I was the host of?
Yes.
So many. I remember like I always thought it would be fun to do one of those like Christmas time where you decorate your house and you have like music playing and you have games and you put your product out and you have like an open house. Everyone would do open houses.
Yes.
And so I would do this. I would get excited and I would completely decorate my house and have all these things planned and set up all this cute stuff and send out invitations and call and confirm and everything. No one come. Like sit there and nobody shows up. Yeah. And it yeah. And I don't know how and then other women would say, "Oh gosh, I had so many people come." I even this is bad. I even as a coach, as a speaker, when I was a new learning to be a speaker, um, I hosted a conference, a leadership conference, like a teleconference, and I was the host location. And the only people that came were the people who volunteered for the day. Yes, volunteered for the day. And who else came? So it was people who were volunteering and people, there was like, I think 2 or 3 tickets that I gave away as a prize.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And it was seating for, I think should have been 200 people. It was a big room for a new speaker. And we had catering, we had everything. And I think we had maybe 10 people. And I was like, oh my goodness. But
how did you feel? Like how, I mean, you say,
like
and I moved on, but that's what I'm saying. Like, what is that real emotion? Because so many women, my gosh, so many women are so scared to talk about their failure when hosting an event. It's like, we've all been there and we have to encourage each other because, so you felt this small. How did you pick yourself back up again? How did you do that?
Well, luckily, it was an event that was, it was a hybrid event. So you had like the live people at the event, and then we were hosting a live streaming teleconference of speakers that were located in another place. So basically, I was hosting like a video watching thing. So all I really had to do was say, "Wasn't that awesome?" and talk to them. Luckily, even though the room was so big, the speakers were so amazing that they filled the room with their presence. Even though they weren't in the room, you really felt like you were part of a bigger event. And
so you were
like,
you were an audience basically of one and some volunteers watching this conference.
Pretty much. But I just thought, you know what? We are gonna give these people the experience as if this is a packed house. And I'm not gonna shrink my presentation. I'm gonna give it like I planned it for a packed house. And that's the experience they got. And they walked away with, tools and a plan for 6 months out. And, really we pulled nuggets out of the day and talked about what we could do with that and how to learn from that. And those people that came still are in contact today. They still they're connected. They still keep each other accountable. They still check on each other. So I definitely would count that as a success, though at that moment I was like, what have I done? And I won't even go into how much money I lost on that event. My husband will tell you, but
I can just feel the emotions that you probably felt going into this. If you are watching, if you're popping in, say hi, give us a thumbs up, let us know where you're coming from, share the video. If you or a friend have ever experienced a failed party or some kind of failed event where you are just hoping for massive success and nobody shows up, or you have an audience of one, because we have all been there, and that is what we're talking about today, and just trying to encourage one another. So Angela just shared about a time where she hosted a large event and there was basically an audience of one, but she continued on with her speech. She continued on with the show as planned. And it impacted the volunteers, and it impacted her life and it shaped her. So that is what we're talking about. So give us a thumbs up. And on that note, it's very interesting to like this is not where I planned this conversation, but to continue with an audience of one. So say you're hosting your party and you have everything set up for like 6 people, and maybe it turns into a one-on-one session, and you're like, at first it takes you for a loop, right? Because you're mentally and emotionally planning to have a party and everyone's going to feed off of each other, and you're definitely going to get sales. Hey, Abby, you're definitely going to get sales and you're excited about it. And then one person shows up and you're like, okay, how am I going to change this conversation to a one-on-one? And you find it in yourself to do that, and that person, you'll find 9 times out of 10 becomes a pretty valuable returning customer of yours. I was listening to a TED Talk, I believe it was, about a person who had his audience of one. So he set up his room. Actually, Angela, I think you sent me this video last year. He kept showing up for his audience of one, and then that one person turned into 10 people, and the 10 people turned into 20, and eventually he had thousands of people in his room giving the same exact speech because he invested his time into one person. Another example of this was last year. I was at a networking party for my business, and I was talking with somebody who was giving a seminar, a health seminar, and she was really excited. She booked a room and she was ready to give this health seminar, and one person showed up and she said, okay, that's fine. I'm going to stand up, do my PowerPoint. I'm going to struggle through this, and we're going to do well. And that one person ended up being a head of a company like 10 years down the road, and she got that person to be a client. And so that was the huge fire under her company when it launched. So it was like, you just never know. You never know. One person could be your entire business. So
absolutely. And what I do with that is, when I was in Mary Kay as a Mary Kay director, I've had a packed room for the meetings. I've had one person for the meetings. And I always say, you know what? The people who are here are the people who are meant to be here. So always look at it as you're sent the people you're supposed to speak to, and those are the people that are supposed to hear your message. What they do with it is not up to you. Your job is to deliver the message, and their job is to take in the message. You have a really good question here from Abby. Do you want me to read it?
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't know if you see the whole thing. So Abby's asking, how about the opposite? I don't know if you saw, Michelle, but I did a live for my makeup a few days ago. I was super excited, thinking I would get sales or people interested. I had over 500 views. Well, congratulations on that, Abby.
That's awesome, Abby.
But no one messaged me or even showed interest. So they were just looky-loos, right? Getting excited to watch you, but they don't want to interact with you. It was super disappointing, and I was super disappointed and not sure how I feel about doing another one. Don't give up. You have 500 people who took the time to watch.
Girl, you don't know how like awesome that is. That is so incredible. Totally get like how bummed you are. I totally get that. Been there. Totally get it, girl. But people are just starting to feel you out. I didn't see the video, but now I'm going to go back and watch it.
Yes, me too.
And you have 500 people who are like, you're just busting out with this business. You're doing your makeup video, and you captured the attention of a huge audience, which means they now know that you're doing it. They're now going to be more apt to click it again when they need something, right? Or when they see you come on, they're like, oh, I watched that before. Like, I got some time here. Let's just go ahead and click into it. And you just never know. I did the same thing. I attended one of those lives. I just jumped in because I had a few minutes. And a month and a half later, when I needed a product, when I needed that, I thought about that live video, and I ended up buying a bunch of product from that person because of that one live that I'd never messaged her afterwards, but I ended up being her customer. So you never know. You never know, girl. Do not give up. Do another one. In fact, do it soon so that you don't lose your nerve.
Yes, absolutely. I know I watch people sometimes for months and never comment. I might like heart or like, but never comment until like you said, I think of something I need and I'm like, who's that person I've been watching? And then I will reach out to them. So there's a lot of people on Facebook who are introverted, and we talk about Michelle's an introvert, and we talk about how it's Facebook is nice because we can safely lurk and
You can
watch.
lurk. Yes.
Yes, and we
Yes.
cannot participate. We're not forced to participate, but don't take that as they're not interested. And eventually they will. And maybe what you can do is another like safe way for them to interact with you is say, hey, if you've enjoyed this live, maybe give them a link to follow you to your Facebook or something and have a capture system so that you can then have a conversation. There's different tools now, and if you're a member of 100 Coffees, we just had a whole week of tools from Haley Lynn Gray shared how you can capture without being salesy. You can capture the information of people who are watching you, and you can let them know like, hey, I can alert you when I'm having a live, or please let me know what you would like. Are you having a problem area that I can maybe do a video for? And that's a great way to interact. Tell me what area you'd like me to work on. Are you having lip problems? Do you want some eye suggestions? Or ask them a question. What lipstick should I put on, right? And they're going to be like, oh, I like the pink one, or whatever.
Yes.
Get their
People
feedback.
do that. I'm telling you. That's like the whole movement of Facebook now is people going online, and it really does cater to finally something that caters to like an introvert because we get so much anxiety when someone asks us to go to these parties and we're like, oh, I want to support you so bad, but oh my gosh, like my heart, I'm having heart palpate, like my heart is like speeding up just thinking about it. We can attend your parties, be in the background, because there are a lot of things like my girlfriends, they sell jewelry and they come online and I'm like, oh my gosh, I need that. And I can sit in the background without any social pressure to like buy these things. I could just come out, come in. It's wonderful. So super excited about that. And if you're listening and you have done parties like that where you showed your product, tell us about it, how it went, and what your success was or what your failure was, because we want to hear those things.
Yes, like what are your tips? What if you're really good, some people are amazing party throwers, like amazing, and others are not. So if you are a good party thrower, or if you're getting great engagement on your lives, like what's your secret? Drop us a secret here, or give us a little tip, or tell us what your struggle is with. If it's the opposite, what is your struggle? Is your struggle getting the people? Is your struggle now I got the people like Abby, but they're not talking to me? Like what is your struggle?
Hey, Lindsay.
Lindsay, hello, Miss Facebook Live expert here with us in the house, Miss Lindsay.
Lindsay is awesome. She does social networking, and oh my goodness, she kills it on Facebook. So if you need any tips, and if you need to have a conversation, sorry, Lindsay, but I saw your face, so I'm blowing you up. This girl is awesome, and she is so on point with Facebook marketing for her social network business. So yes, definitely click into her.
Yeah. So Lindsay, our question was, I got 500 viewers on my live, but nobody responded. Like, what would you give as advice for that?
And we will wait for you. We'll stare at you, hoping.
No pressure.
So if you're coming in, we are talking about failed business experiences in our coffee chat today, and just being real and authentic about failure and what it was like, what it feels like, and that we've all been there, especially if you do network marketing. We've all been there. But my question to you, Angela, is so you had a large group under you as a network marketer, correct?
Yes.
Did you have a lot of people who, for their first launch party or their first party, have nobody show up, and like what advice did you give to them?
Yeah, I would say probably 95% had 0 people show up.
Wow.
0 people. Yes, except like the people who lived with them, who had no choice, Yeah.
So So did they quit or did they keep going? What happened?
I had a few that quit. I had a few that were like, well, you know what, this just doesn't work for me. But no, I don't, for the most part, we took that as a lesson and we just practiced and we talked about, you know what, even if you have to practice to an empty room, it's another way to practice. And everything we do is a lesson and getting us ready for the real show, right? So this is just practice. So hey, yay, you get to practice to an empty room. Nobody will heckle you, right? And also you could have that conversation with, you're not going to get rich off your friends and family. And in fact, tell your friends and family, I don't want your business. Tell them flat out, like, hey, you are practice. I am in training, and I do not expect you ever to buy anything from me. I don't expect you to join my team. And if they do, fine, that's them on their own. But that's that's not where you're going to make all your money. Even if you have a big family, even if your family says, oh, I totally support you and we all use this product anyway, that's great. But don't count on that.
I think
You
that's
need
the
to
same
get
way.
beyond it.
That is the same way in every single, even not network marketing, any business that you start, anything, your friends and family, and you will hear this from the most successful people. I've read a lot of blogs and I've watched a lot of videos, ladies, is that your friends and family will not, you don't count on them as your audience. You have got to get beyond them, because a lot of the times, number one, you don't want to put that on them, making them feel like they have to like support you or buy your products or do what you need to do. But another thing is, if you are just starting your business, or if they know you, or it's very hard for people to make that jump to supporting you as an entrepreneur. So you need to get beyond that. And that's all part of having a tribe and having a community, because it's very hard to get friends and family on board. A lot of people would say that their own friends and family on Facebook, they don't like or share any of those things, but they have a whole audience of other women who have been there, done that, and those are the people who are sharing, and that's where they get their business from. So definitely get beyond that friends and family point, and get a tribe. Facebook is so good right now for getting a community. 100 Coffees is a tribe of women. First of all, we love our coffee. And second of all, we're just women who are trying to support one another and do life authentically, and get through our goals, whether it be entrepreneurship or stay-at-home mom, homeschool mom, just women tackling life and having a relationship, and we're supporting each other through that. So that's awesome for having a tribe who is going to support you in your business. So, yeah, friends and family, we got to get beyond that point eventually, you know?
Yes. And actually, I see Sandy joined. We have Sandy, Monica, and Regan. Hey, good morning.
Hey, girls.
This is where you are joining from. And if you want to share a time when you coordinate an event, or you started something new and you invited a bunch of people and zero attendees. So I know Sandy, speaking of having family support, Sandy Gerard, who's on here, hey Sandy, she shares a workshop called Freedom Crab, because sometimes when we start something, we get a little bit of success, and the people who love us the most, they want to protect us, right? And maybe we've already tried something that didn't go so well, and so they want to protect you, and their first instinct is to grab a hold of you, much like a crab. A crab in a trap, it wants to get out, because if it's alone in the trap, it thinks, oh, I need to get out, right? Save myself. But as soon as you have another crab inside the trap and you put the second one in, and it tries to crawl out, the first crab pulls it back in instinctively. And our family can do that. Our family can hold on to us so tightly, thinking, no, don't go. It's not safe out there. When really they don't realize that's the best way, right? Let them go. Let them be free. So Sandy does a whole workshop. Yeah, a whole workshop on that. Sandy says, you mentioned you could not sell in your family.
Ah, good
And
point.
Jesus was not able to effectively preach in his own town. And
Yes, girl. Preach it,
yes,
girl.
that
Yes.
is so true. Yes, so if Jesus can't do it, honey, neither can you.
It is time to move forward.
Yes,
Oh my gosh, that is such a
absolutely.
good point, girl. That is such a good point.
Ah,
Oh,
I love that. Well, I think we're at our half hour mark, Michelle. I
oh,
love
well,
this
that's it for
engagement here,
us.
but
Yes.
I know we gotta go, but go back through the comments, share with us some experience, network within the feed. If you're not already a member of 100 Coffees, this is a great week to join. Go on this page here, go at the top, click Learn More, and click on information for the group.
All right, ladies. Well, share a time where you have had a failed experience. Definitely network in the feed, and we will talk to you next Monday on Spill the Beans.
All right, bye.
Bye.